Right. Well, I thought I was. I think I just closed it. Hold on one sec. Let me go back in. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
Okay. Let's try that again. All right, it is letting me share. There we go. Okay, so pulling that up. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Can you guys still hear me? Okay. Are y'all ready for us to get started? Okay, great. Well, welcome everyone. We are happy to be with y'all today. We are from St. Benedict's Episcopal School. We are an infant through 8th grade school over in Smyrna, Georgia. And we are excited to share information with you all today about St. Benedict's. We invite you to use the chat feature at the bottom of your screen. At any point you have questions, just pop them into that chat, and at the end of the presentation, we will make sure we go back and answer all of those questions. I am joined today by Amy Mayo. Amy has been working with me at St. Benedict's for a while. Amy, I'm gonna get the year wrong, so I'm not gonna even attempt that. You wanna say hello?
Hi there, been here almost 6 years now.
And Amy works with me. I've been here since the beginning of the school. We just finished our 10th year. We're in our 11th year right now. So I have been here since the beginning. And we do think that Kristen Purdue, our new Director of Enrollment Management, will be joining as well. And when she does, we'll make sure you get a hello from her too. The three of us are your admissions contacts for St. B's, and we're more than happy to answer your questions at any time. Amy can pop our contact information into the chat so that you can feel free to email us later should you want more information, but we are excited to just jump right in and share with you some information about our school. These are our values as an independent school and as an Episcopal school. We are one of the most diverse schools in the Atlanta area. Our diversity amongst our students are in the 40% area. So we have a very, very large, diverse, inclusive community. Oh, there's Kirsten. Kirsten, we just started. Why don't you say hi real quick before we go too much further?
Hi, I'm so sorry. I had a meeting that ran over. I'm Kirsten. I'm the Director of Enrollment Management here at St. Benedict's. Thank you guys for joining us today.
So Kirsten, Amy's going to put our email addresses in the chat so families who want to follow up with us with questions will have the way to contact us. So,
Awesome.
So pop in Amy and Kirsten at any point if you want to add anything to this at all. Okay. So as an Episcopal school, we are a diverse, inclusive community. We build our community and our school around the love, faith, and respect that everyone should be giving to each other every day. And the collaborative learning is really what a small school does best. And we have sort of fine-tuned that so that our teachers are always collaborating. When those three things come together, we feel like we achieve academic excellence. Our vision and our mission, these are things that we hold near and dear, and these are the points that we go back to with every decision that we make, from opening a new building today all the way to deciding what lunch partner we're going to partner with for our lunch caterers. We are always talking about how can we inspire learning, how can we nurture growth, and how can we embrace the values of Episcopal education. We are a school that champions childhood. We want to have children be children, and we want to find a place where children can feel loved and nurtured. And when that loving and that nurturing is secured in place, the academics have such a solid place to fall. So we start with that, and we build and we grow, and we do that as an Episcopal school. One of the very few Episcopal schools in Atlanta, actually, probably pretty large in the scope of Episcopal schools as they go. Episcopal schools are known to be open and inclusive. They are known to find their center in the Old and the New Testaments, but we don't necessarily expect everyone to come with that same center. And so we don't ask families to check themselves at the door. One of the things that we love is that we meet families where they are. And so you do not need to feel like if you are not a practicing Christian, that this is not a place where your child is not going to feel welcome. We have a large percentage of Hindu families, we have Jewish families, we have Muslim families, we have families that don't claim any sort of spiritual affiliation, and that's okay, because our goal is to, again, meet children with kindness, love, and respect. And so we start with that. Our hallmarks for, let me go back to that slide 1 second. The hallmarks are the open and inclusive appreciation for diversity, meeting families where they are. We do have a chaplain who has 3 roles. One is that she's a teacher. She goes into our classroom and teaches a class for our kindergarten through 5th grade students. It's called Sacred Stories. The idea behind Sacred Stories is that all of our stories come together to blend and to create the community of which we're a part. And none of our stories are the same, and none of our stories have to be the same. We come together, we blend those stories together, and we create a beautiful, loving community that we can all find a space in. She also does counseling and conversation with our families and our students and our teachers. So she's the soft place to land, we often say. And then she also has our chapel services that we do weekly. And weekly chapel is all on YouTube this year. We do have a channel that's on YouTube. If you're interested in what chapels look like, you're welcome to go and find us on the YouTube, find our channel on YouTube. We have a 1st through 4th grade chapel service on Tuesday. We have a preschool and kindergarten chapel service on Wednesday. And we have a 5th through 8th grade chapel service on Thursday. We have chapel leaders that are a part of our chapel, even though we can't meet remote like these pictures show, live like these pictures show. We still have our chapel helpers helping remote. And it still is the cornerstone of our community. So we still find that weekly time to come together and connect. And we have student leaders that help us do that. One of the highlights of the week, and the kindergarten chapel in particular is one of my favorites. It's just a very, very sweet few minutes. And then those chapel services and those messages are followed up in the classroom with her presence. So it is a great opportunity for families to come and find that centering space. How we come back to school this year has looked different for lots of schools, and we are definitely been planning since we went out on March 13th. I think we started our conversations on March 15th of how we were going to bring our families back together and get them back onto campus. And so we have done that by implementing and beginning health and safety protocols that will enable us to have children here on campus, keeping our children safe, making sure our community can come together and learn, and doing that in the safest way possible. So we have daily medical waivers that families fill out. It's the self notifications of whether or not they've had any symptoms or if they've been exposed to anyone. We've increased hand washing throughout the building. We have moved our nurses' offices on our main campus to make sure she is secluded and has a proper space to quarantine if there is a need, and if there is a child that is sick and we're not sure what that sickness or that illness may be, we are making sure we're getting them out of the classroom as quickly as possible, keeping them away from the faculty and staff and the other children to make sure that we can get those necessary precautions to make sure we're keeping our community safe. We have daily temperature checks, so before anyone can come into the building, we are taking everyone's temperature. We've increased our cleaning. We have increased staffing to make sure that cleaning is really happening. And cleaning systems, including an electrostatic sprayer that we are implementing throughout the day and the evenings, and really kind of started hoarding some cleaning supplies around March so that we have deep supplies of the things that we need to make sure we keep the classrooms clean and we are able to bring children back in. The way we brought children back in was to physically distance them. The term that everyone has been talking about is social distancing. We have sort of changed that term into a physical distancing term that works better for us, because we feel like that school is an opportunity for children to have social connections. And so the physical distancing for us is a very important part of what we're able to do, because that social aspect is very important for all of us. Humans need to be able to connect. And so saying that we're physically distancing rather than social distancing seems like semantics, but it's putting an emphasis on the fact that we are figuring out a way to have children make those connections that are social and emotional, even though we're keeping them physically 3 to 6 feet apart, following all the guidelines of the American Academy of Pediatrics and the Center for Disease Control. So all of our classrooms have been reconfigured. We have taken our traditional classrooms that have between 18 and 21 students and really resized those down to anywhere between 10 to 16 students, depending on the size of the classroom and the square footage. And we have really been able to spread the children out to allow them to be able to come back to school. But there are some families that are not able to come back to school, and we wanted to be able to meet their needs as well. So before school started, we offered the opportunity for children to come back either remote, which we are calling hybrid learning, and they are completely remote, and we're giving them inclusivity into the classrooms, or we are bringing them in with a blended learning scenario. And the blended learning is a combination of increasing some technology throughout the building, making sure that children in every classroom have an opportunity to connect, whether they've got strep throat or whether their stomach just hurts or whether, God forbid, they end up with COVID. We're wanting to make sure that we have ways to connect children into the classroom through that blended option. And then the hybrid option is really available for those families who really need to have that full at-home instruction. It doesn't mean that the curriculum is going to be changing, and it doesn't mean that they're not getting teacher attention. It just means that they need to be at home, being able to do the same things that children do in the classroom. And so no matter which option our families select, whether they select the face-to-face or the home learning, we are offering whole group instruction, small group instruction, and independent work time. So there's a schedule that each class has when they are in the building and when they are remote. Families and children follow that schedule regardless of where they are in their learning. And if a child needs to go out, we are giving them the opportunity to join those remote cohorts. Our remote students have a dedicated teacher that has been assigned to them in kindergarten through 4th grade. In 5th through 8th, they are zooming into the classroom for live instruction. So we are kind of live streaming the instructions for our 5th through 8th grade. We are doing a lot of teacher cohorts where there's a dedicated teacher for those online students in kindergarten through 4th grade, and doing some recorded lessons from the classroom, but really making sure that that dedicated teacher for those remote learners is maintaining those connections, giving them the instruction, teaching all the material, breaking them into small groups, checking back to make sure there's mastery and proficiency, and then making sure that they have an inclusive part of their community, their building community amongst their cohort. So there have been some opportunities for them to get to know one another. There have been opportunities for them, if they're comfortable, to meet at a park with masks. There have been some opportunities for them to do some activities and some fun games within their cohort that will allow them to get to know each other, feel like they've got some connectivity. So hopefully when they're able to come back in, they'll come back in as that cohort into the building. And hopefully we'll be able to have them come back as soon as we can. So for the students that are in school, we have had a blended learning environment. We've created that for this year. We have traditionally been a school that has not introduced technology really until 4th grade with a keyboarding class. We have changed that a little bit. We still feel like the handwriting is the key pivotal part of the early learners in the early classroom, elementary classrooms of kindergarten through 3rd grade. And we have not eliminated our cursive instruction that begins in 3rd grade. But we have brought in a little bit more of technology for our kindergarten through 4th graders by introducing some iPads and some new technology that allows us to really take our traditional instruction with digital instruction and create some blend for them to be able to be accustomed to what the technology looks like. So if they do have to go out, they have a higher degree of independence and a little bit more autonomy than if they had never been exposed to some of these platforms as an in-person learner and then had to go remote. So we are working really hard to make sure that we are giving them platforms that are being used daily that will allow them some familiarity that they can be able to navigate through those in the classroom, and if they have to go remote, navigate through those at home. And we're also making sure that parents have been trained in those platforms as well. So we are using a platform called Seesaw for our kindergarten through 4th grade. Seesaw is a great way, very interactive and engaging. It's very intuitive, and it's very easy for even the early learners to take a picture and upload something to their teacher so they have to be remote. So they've been doing a little bit of this in the classroom. Our classrooms are still very much pen and paper based, pencil and paper based, but a little bit of familiarity again will help if they need to go out of the classroom for any reason. And Seesaw is a platform we're using to do that. Lots of families are familiar with Seesaw, but it is just a very intuitive way to not only differentiate between students. We can assign some assignments to some students that might need some additional practice, or we can challenge some students through Seesaw to really go a little deeper with the concept that's being taught. And there's so many options for what we can do with Seesaw, what the teachers can create, what the students can do. These are some examples of what students can do. You can see that picture in the bottom right-hand corner really allows students to be able to use a pencil and mark up a drawing or a photograph. And the teachers can really use that to be engaging and really give a multisensory approach to how they're teaching remotely and using this platform. The one benefit that we really do like about this is it's one place. It's a one-stop shop where all of our teachers can put everything there. Our co-curriculars can put their lessons there, and really gives a lot of centralized location for everything to be found for our students to be able to learn. And so a blended student in kindergarten has a schedule that looks a little bit like this. This is one brief little snapshot. We'll get into the nuts and bolts of a kindergarten day, but you can tell they begin in the morning with morning meeting and Super Kids. Super Kids is our English and language arts and writing curriculum. And then they go into some recess, they have lunch. We're doing some Frenzy, which is social emotional new curriculum we've introduced this year. Spanish has always been, since our inception, has been a core class for all of our students and our 3-year-olds all the way through our 8th grade. So every student takes Spanish as a core part of our curriculum. And then the afternoons in kindergarten are spent with some reading blocks, some free choice centers, some science, some social studies, but they also can fill their afternoons with some co-curricular classes. And co-curriculars for all of our students in our building are music, PE, sacred stories, art, creative movement, and drama. Creative movement and drama are sort of hand in hand this year, where we're getting them outside and doing as much as we can, with some theatrical ends to some movement classes. So it's a merging of some PE and some drama together. But the curriculum is very important for us to make sure that we don't lose the co-curriculars. And so what we have traditionally done pre-COVID is have the children rotate throughout the building to specialized classrooms for these co-curriculars. And what we're doing this year is having the co-curriculars go to the children, except for PE, and obviously PE and recess are outside in our playground or on our field. So they have a space to go outside and do that. The core subjects that students take in kindergarten and above, actually, in kindergarten through 4th grade, are an English, which includes a writing, a reading, a grammar, and a spelling. Those are all very, very important concepts to us, and we usually dedicate 2 blocks a day for every early elementary student to be able to do all of that. So typically there's a reading block, and then there's a language arts block. And the language arts block is really made up of the grammar, the spelling, the writing, and the reading is strictly the reading block. And we differentiate a lot in those areas, especially in our younger elementary. Our math is a core curriculum, science and social studies, of course, are co-curriculars, or core subjects. Spanish is a core subject. And then the co-curriculars are the arts, the PE, the drama. Sacred stories is a co-curricular. But we do not consider foreign language as a co-curricular. That makes us a little bit different than some of the other schools. The other thing that makes us a little different is when we are talking about core subjects, our grammar curriculum begins in 2nd grade. So in 2nd grade, students really begin to learn those parts of speech. They're actually looking at diagramming sentences. And that usually begins, at least in Cobb, in 6th grade. So we're getting a real early start on that. By introducing it early, we find that the earlier you start that, the better the better writing skills you can develop. And so we have been very intentional in the decision to start that grammar as an early curriculum. And then, as I mentioned previously, we're also begin our cursive curriculum in 3rd grade. We still do a typing, keyboarding class in 4th, where we are fine-tuning the finger typing skills in 4th grade, getting them ready for middle school, but we are definitely making sure that they are getting all of the spacing, the uppers, the lower cases, how to punctuate a sentence, how to really write a sentence, and how to really use cursive for reading and writing in 3rd. Cursive is continued in 4th and 5th grade as the writing style of choice. And then 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th is when they're really on a one-to-one computer program, using that on a much more frequent basis. This is an example of a 3rd grade schedule, very much like a kindergarten schedule, but just gives you another example of what a schedule looks like as a child ages through our elementary program. You'll notice the times on this schedule. All of our classes begin in kindergarten through 4th grade at 8:10. And then we end our kindergarten day at 2:20. And we end our day for grades 1 through 8 at 3:10. So it's an extra block is added to the end of the day for our older students that are not in kindergarten. We do all have a Friday dismissal at 2:20. So the whole school dismisses on Friday afternoons at 2:20. These are some examples of our classrooms. This is a 1st grade classroom that has been repurposed for a COVID classroom. You can see that there are, the spaces have been, the desks have been changed. They're at tables. They are 3 to 6 feet apart. Tables are spread out. This is a classroom of 4th grade last year. This is 4th grade looks a little different with the opening of our building today. We had a new part of our building open today. That's very exciting. Our 4th graders moved there this morning, but this is what a 4th grade classroom looked like before that move. And this is one of our middle school classrooms. Third grade classroom there. Just wanted to give you a little bit of a picture. We are working on a full 360-degree virtual tour feature that will be added to our website in the next few weeks. So I invite you to check back on our website, www.stbs.org, and we will have live tour opportunities there in the coming weeks. Kirsten's been working really hard on building that. So it's going to be a great opportunity for you to see more about the building. And of course, the academics are an important part of a child's day, but we give them more opportunities for growth. This looks very different depending on the age of the student. These pictures are showing our Bee Buddy program. We pair our students up with younger students as mentors. Our 8th graders right now are paired up with our kindergartners, and our 8th graders are working on ways that they can do that virtually this year, since we are not having our 8th graders and our kindergartners able to come into each other's buildings, and trying to keep our spaces very separate, to keep them very much from getting cross-contaminated. So our 8th graders are working on ways to be able to connect with our younger students, but we do have a mentoring program, and every grade is assigned another grade that works with them and does certain projects with them. It's an important connection piece for us, brings our community together. But we also do opportunities for growth that involve service learning. We do opportunities for growth that involve things in the classroom that are beyond the academics and beyond the curriculum. It's an important part for us to teach children how to give back, as well as to understand what their place in the world is. As I said, our day begins with connecting with classmates. As I said, our day begins at 8:10. We begin carpool at 7:40. And we begin with the responsive classroom model in our younger classrooms. Kindergarten through 4th grade practice our responsive classroom. If you haven't researched responsive classroom, I invite you just to look and see what they offer. It's a fantastic program of building the social emotional skills of our students. And it's intentional time that we make sure is a priority, either for our students that are face-to-face or for our students that are remote. It involves a morning meeting. It talks about what the day is going to look like. There's some modeling that sometimes comes into that, especially as we're talking through peer relationships and how to get along well with others. We problem solve. We talk about things we're grateful for. We talk about ways that we are appreciative of our friends, something that really made us feel good about our day before, or something that we're worried about coming up. We share all of those things together. We're intentional about who's there. We're intentional about who's not there. And we're intentional about welcoming children back when they have been gone. We're intentional about the children that have been gone for a while by making cards and making sure we get those delivered. Teachers that have to be out, we're intentional about making sure that they know that they are missed. But this is really a chance for us to come together and start building our community at the classroom level so that we can then build it by the classroom, by the grade, by the building, and by the school. And community is a very, very important part of what we do. Responsive classroom is the tool we use to do that. It's also the way we approach discipline. And we operate off of a very much of a positive discipline system here. We have very few instances where it doesn't work, very few instances where we need to involve parent or have parent conferences, but really finding that we meet the children with anticipation of behaviors. We're talking through classroom promises. We are engaging and creating and participating in creating classroom promises. All of those things come together to make a very loving community that children have investments in. And so we find that that's an important part of what we do. We also implemented some new carpool protocols this year. We have some technology that's an app on parents' phones that helps keep children safe during carpool. It's what we use for our daily wellness checks, but it's also what we use for families to announce their arrival to campus so that students are not waiting in carpool areas for long periods of time. It's the way that we're, again, working to physically distance our students. So when we know you're here, we can get your child in line, we can get your child out the door, and it's been super efficient. Allows us to also give you real-time notifications if something is changing here. If there's an accident in the area, we can let you know that we're going to extend carpool for 5 minutes. If we had to close early, that's a great way we can let parents know that we're closing early. Allows us to send reminders about early dismissal days. It's just a very, as an app that increases our parent communication with the school. It allows you to also let us know if you're running late, lets us know if you need to change somebody to pick up your child instead of you, and gives us the approval for us to be able to do that. So it's really moved our carpool and our efficiency along this year. We're excited to have that in place. Lunch is, of course, a very important part of the student's day. We do partner with Chef Advantage, which is a lunch provider that brings lunch to our school. And they offer a number of different menu selections daily so that children who have allergies or other sort of nutrition concerns can meet or find something that would work for them. We typically have had Chef Advantage serving hot lunch. We're not able to do that this year. So the lunches look like what's in the picture. They're individually boxed. Milk is an option that parents can add, and they're very affordable. So hot lunches are usually under $3 a day. The box lunches are under $4 a day. There's a lot of food that's contained in these lunches, usually includes enough food for an afternoon snack, which is all happening in the classroom this year. And then afternoon carpool is what we do when children dismiss. Obviously, we have that at 2:20 for our kindergartners and 3:15 for our older students. Again, we all dismiss at 2:20 on Fridays. We are a community that has many working parent families, and so to meet the needs of families who have work schedules that need to keep their children in school a little bit longer than the school day, we offer an after-school program that we call Passport. It is a way to keep our students very engaged throughout the afternoons. And we have offered care traditionally through 6 p.m., and that is the same this year. Pre-COVID, we were also able to offer an early morning extension. We're not able to do that this year, but we're hoping to be able to bring that back once we get some of our policies and procedures a little bit lightened up after COVID. We hopefully we can extend that. Right now, students can arrive as early as 7:30, and they can stay as late as 6. Traditionally, we also have clubs that are part of this Passport program. Clubs can be anything that are enrichment. It can be anything from dance to sports to academic to just fun. We're hoping that we can bring those back in the spring. We haven't been able to do those in the fall, but we're hoping to bring those back in the spring, mainly because we're limiting the amount of people coming into campus. So we do have teachers that are staying after school to tutor and to help students, but we are not able to bring vendors back yet. So we're hoping in the spring we can do that. Passport after school enrichment turns into day camps. So when we have periods of the school year where we are closed, we are able to offer day camp options for our students. And so that is what we call Singers Unplugged, and that originates out of our Passport program. We also offer a extensive array of summer camps, and we keep students here throughout the year so that families who do need to have that option can make sure that their students are coming to a place that is familiar, loving, nurturing. It's a great transition opportunity. The camps program is a great transition opportunity for families that are going to be joining the school brand new in the fall. So just keep that in mind. We usually offer our summer camps in the menu for our summer camps in February of each year. So in February, you can always check on our website and you can see what camps we have coming. It's a great opportunity for students to come and get a little familiar with the environment before school starts. We love our parent association, and we're so grateful for all of the things that they do for us. They're very active. They keep our teachers feeling loved throughout the year by doing things to show appreciation for them. Those few little things throughout the year that really make them feel special. And we're proud to partner with them. We're proud to have them helping create and foster the sense of community, but they also work in planning some of our community events that bring our community together, like scholastic book fairs, like a sweetheart dance, like moms and sons, or a daddy-daughter opportunities for families to come in and have times to connect with your child at events with other families that are there. They do community outreach. They also have used uniforms that they coordinate. Lots of opportunities for parents to be involved here, and some opportunities that we don't even know that we need. Families that are new bring those ideas and suggestions in, and we love that. So there is a very active parent association, and we love having parents be a part of that. So we invite you to learn more about that as well. And we're coming towards the end, but one of the things that we're often asked at admissions at St. Bede's is, will you have a high school? And when is the high school going to come? And what do you do because you only go through 8th grade? And I want to spend a few minutes and talk to you about why a preschool through 8th grade school is so important. I usually approach this topic when I'm asked about this as a parent and as an administrator. As an administrator, I can tell you that being in a school where there is a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade as the top level really, is really intentional leadership opportunities. We really are looking as administrators to find ways where those 8th graders especially can be seen as leaders of our community. We are really finding ways to make sure that the middle school students are being met and that we are preparing them intentionally for what high school looks like. And we have intentionally done everything from the portrait of a graduate and backloading our curriculum to make sure that we are producing that all the way through leadership opportunities to make sure that when students leave here and go into high school, they know who they are and they are going into those situations secure and confident. As a parent who has had 2 children come through kindergarten through 8th grade school, I can tell you that really works. My daughter is now a freshman in college. My son is a sophomore in high school. And I can tell you that some of those opportunities that they had to be known, to be loved, a safe place to fail really meant a lot to them as they were growing through a kindergarten through 8th grade school. They are known, and we are always looking out for what they need and what is going to give them a greater sense of belonging in a school like this. It's oftentimes when children are in a K-12 school, you see a lot of focus on the sports and the athletics. You see a lot of focus on SAT scores and college acceptances. You see a lot of really cute pictures of the babies, the kindergartners and first graders, all the special things that they're doing. You don't really see a lot of intentionality around in K-12 schools, the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. That's the time where they feel the worst about themselves. That's not the best part of their development years. And we really want to give them a place where they feel like they can be seen, they can be loved, they can be nurtured, they can be known. And they're going to fail and they're going to make mistakes, but giving them a place where they know tomorrow is a new day is a very, very important part of our mission. When you're in a kindergarten through 8th grade school, many families ask what happens after that. And many of the K-12 schools in Atlanta have expansions at the 9th grade year. Many of them expand by a whole classroom, 30, 40, maybe even 60 children are part of the 9th grade expansion. And so our children who have applied into these programs through our outplacement program have acceptances and are attending all of the schools you see listed here. The one that's a little bit less known is this one, this advanced learning, the Enrichment Extension Experiences logo. That is in Cobb County, that is our magnet program. So because we are located here in Cobb, we also help families find placement within the Cobb County magnet schools. There are 6 of them. They are free, they are tuition-free opportunities for children to be able to apply into, and our kids have gone into those and been very, very successful. And they each have a theme or a discipline of focus. So Wheeler is known as a school for engineering. Kennesaw Mountain is known as a school for STEM. South Cobb is known as pre-med. North Cobb is known for sort of international business. The Campbell IB department is an international baccalaureate school, much like the Riverwood International Charter School over in Sandy Springs. They are both IB programs. And then there's Pebblebrook. Pebblebrook is a performing arts school. So we help families find the right fit for high school. One of the things that I think I loved the most about my daughter making this intentional, she was my first, and when she was visiting all these different schools, one of the things I loved most about it is the participation she could have in finding a community that was right for her at this age. You don't really know what your child is going to be like, what kind of learner they're going to be, what they really enjoy, what they're talented in, what their strengths are as a kindergartner or a first grader. So it's important to let them experiment through early elementary and have lots of opportunities to find really where they fit in and where they feel like they're the most comfortable. And many of the schools that she visited, she did not feel comfortable in. In fact, one of the ones that we applied her to as a 4-year-old was one of the schools she felt was the worst fit for her. And so having her be a part of the process as she was going through finding a high school was very important. And that process, which includes so much more of a student focus for high school, really helped as she applied for colleges. She knew what she had to do. She knew what the processes were. She knew she couldn't wait to the last minute. She understood she had to have test prep. And having that experience in her short-term memory and in her kind of DNA was very helpful as she was looking at the college process. So a kindergarten through 8th school has a lot of benefit to it. There is an NPR article that you can Google that is about top dogs and about the strengths of a K-8 school. I invite you to read a little bit more about that as well. And of course, like any other independent school, we work with the Board of Trustees to develop a strategic plan. These are some of the things that we have been working towards for the last few years, and we are going to be updating these here shortly to make sure that we are checking in on where we said we were going to be, and then making sure that we take where we are and moving a little bit further along. We are probably the most important thing that we are doing, and we just opened, as I said today, a new building as expanding facilities. Our new building just opened up this morning, and we're super excited to have that as a part of our campus footprint. We're also working to integrate STEAM into our collective and collaborative curriculum. Many of us know STEM curriculums. We refer to it as STEAM because the arts are very important to us here, making sure we're integrating all of that in. And we are in the process right now of finalizing and hopefully being awarded a grant that's going to allow us to do a lot of really fun and exciting things in our curriculum when it comes to STEAM development. So we are very excited about what the future of that looks like. And then we invite you finally to connect with us. We have several ways to do that on social media. You are more than welcome to like our St. Benedict's Facebook page. That is a way for you to really see what's happening around our community, get snapshots of our culture, snapshots of our classrooms, see all of the fun things that are happening around our building. Our Instagram is the same. Parent Association Facebook page is also a fun way to see what our parents are working on. The Moms of St. Bees is a closed group. Once you become a student with us, that is a group that you can certainly be a part of. And those are just great ways to be able to find connectivity throughout our campuses to see more about what it is that we do. Again, as I said, we're rebranding our tours, and we are excited to be able to offer our live tours that are going to be on our website the coming weeks. So we again invite you to stop back and check our website out for those. I am going to stop sharing my screen here and do some questions. So Amy and Kirsten, I'm going to let you guys speak about some of these too so that y'all have a chance to pop in.
Gladly. Does anyone have any questions?
I just wanted to add to a little bit about the application process. So we are currently taking applications for our preschool, which is our 1-year-olds through our pre-K. So you can actually go on our website and apply for those grades now. We do use Ravenna for those grades. We actually are accepting applications for K through 8 as well, but we're able to go ahead and give admissions decisions for our pre-K students a lot quicker because we're part of AAAIS for the K through 8th grade. So you definitely want to go ahead and complete the application. There is an application fee. Once we actually receive your application fee, we'll reach out to you to set up a family interview, which will be via Zoom. And then from there, we'll go ahead and just reassess and give you an admissions decision. So you'll find out a lot sooner than most kids or most families would for our K through 8th graders, which is pretty cool as well, because the younger age groups is where we get full very quickly. So you definitely want to go ahead and take advantage of that sooner than later, because we do have limited space as well. That's my 5 cents. That's all I have to add. But yeah, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.
I don't necessarily have any questions, but I did want to say thank you so much for that presentation. It was very, very well done. I did have one question. What is the name of the app that you guys use? Because I feel like that is pretty cool.
For the carpool,
Mm-hmm.
it's Pick My Kid. It has a weird spelling. It's PIKMYKID. And so it has the health screening section. It also has the announce section.
Awesome.
We have found it super helpful. So parents who need to pick up early for doctor's appointments or leaving town on early dismissal days can just announce, and we're walking children out so the parents aren't coming into the building right now. It's been a really great answer to some of our COVID initiatives, but it's also just a way that we can increase the safety around carpool. That's always the most chaotic time of the day. And so trying to make sure that we create safety around that has been, obviously always an important part of that for us.
Thank you. That's awesome, because we're not letting any parents inside of our facilities either at this time. So I feel like that makes,
and that's the biggest challenge I think schools have had. I think that's the biggest challenge that I as an administrator have had, is finding ways to connect the parents to the classrooms, because we haven't been able to have that free flow of visitors coming in and out of a building. So we have gotten really creative with being able to do that. And we have done things like mystery Zooms, where they're sort of mystery readers, they're zooming into the classroom. Teachers are getting very creative about ways to involve parents into the day-to-day. And so it's been challenging, but it's also been really fun to see how we've kind of come out of the box and thinking through ways that we can make sure that our parent community feels very much a part of who we are, because it's scary not being able to walk your kindergartner into the classroom on their very first day. And we've been very intentional around that. So we're always thinking about, ways that we can ease that anxiety from the parent perspective. And Kirsten, being new since she came this summer, has been a great asset to be able to kind of relook at everything from an outside perspective and add some things to it, such as when families come, getting a new family orientation packet. So there'll be something that's very intentional around making sure parents feel from the get-go a community and being a part of what it is we're doing here.
Awesome.
I had a question about the application.
Sure.
What's the deadline for kindergarten? Do you operate on rolling admissions, or do you have like a set deadline that you need to apply by this certain time?
Yeah, so the applications for our K through 8th graders are February 8th. That's the deadline for applications. And if you have any, teacher evaluations or any kind of report cards, anything, we just ask for those to be in by February 17th. For kindergarten, we're also going to be doing assessments right now. Let's put it this way, as of today. That's how we practice everything around here right now. As of today,
As of 10:47 in the morning.
Right, yeah.
in the morning.
Right. Our plan is to do group assessments and those assessments will be held on February 15th. So after you've completed the application, we will actually reach out to you. You can go ahead and set up schedule a time for group assessment. If anything changes, of course, we're going to let you know as soon as possible and give you the next steps. So we're very proactive in the way that we think. So we do have a plan A, B, and C. But as of right now, you'll go ahead and do that group assessment, and then notifications will go out on April 3rd, which is a Saturday, for all students K through 8th, and then you'll let us know by April 15th your decision. Yeah.
I did have a question here from a parent. Are you guys using the JATP testing?
JATP.
Yeah.
We aren't right now. We've always accepted it if parents want to submit it to us, but we feel like the assessments that we have, that we give, are much more indicative of our curriculum. So it's been created around our curriculum to be able to see exactly where children would fit in, knowing what it is we're teaching them. So it's been sort of more inclusive of that. The other thing I wanted to mention around the application process is if several of you, or if any of your parents are not familiar with St. Benedict's and you would like to learn more, we typically at these fairs will invite people to campus, and we typically will have an event a semester to be able to invite families to come and sort of get a sense of our community. And unfortunately, we're not having our fun run this fall, and we are not able to do our traditional trunk or treat. We are doing a trunk or treat that'll be a drive-through on Thursday the 29th, and you're welcome to drive through the campus and get a little pre-packaged bag of candy at the very end, but it won't be as much of walking around and talking to our families. But if you are interested in learning more from a parent perspective or a family perspective, Kirsten and Amy or any of us could definitely connect you with a parent in our school that could speak to you about what it's like to be a family at St. B's and talk to you about what it's like to be a part of this community. So we're very much going to be utilizing that option as well this year, really kind of beefing up that program to be able to make sure that families can talk to current students and families can talk to current families and get a sense of what it's about. Because really, this is very much of a community school, and we thrive when the community is thriving, and we want to make sure that we can connect people back to that. So we will be happy to connect you with families if that feels like something that your search would need to have part of.
Okay, you're preaching to the choir, because that's kind of our consensus too right now, is that comfortability of being able to see the classroom, see the team, it's taken away. So any and all information with family unity and community would be great for us, because I know our schools are very similar with that, and that, family style or community type of education. So.
And I will tell you that the Suzuki students have come in and they have just acclimated beautifully. So we've been very, very happy to have Suzuki families be a part of our school, and they come in and they're very well prepared and they are ready to go. And we love having families from Suzuki be a part of this. So we invite you to come and learn more. And if you feel like you have more family individual questions, we're always happy to address those one-on-one as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Like I said, you guys are our first of today and of our virtual tours, or whatever you want to call this virtual fair. It's very interesting, but I don't have any other questions. We will be, like I said, this is recorded, so I'm sure we'll have several families who will want to get in touch with you.
Sure.
I'm going to include all of your information and emails and things like that, so parents can reach out. But other than that, I think we're all set. I don't have anything.
Thank you, guys. It was fun.
Yes, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.